And Liam and Harper tied the knot quite a bit later than their circle of friends. He had reached the age of 31, while she was a tad shy of 30. Almost instantly post-nuptials, they welcomed a daughter into the world, and by the time she was 4, they added a son to their brood. As soon as their youngest started attending kindergarten consistently, Harper felt a strong urge to rejoin the workforce. Being cooped up at home for 4 long years had nearly driven her stir-crazy. She was desperate for adult conversation beyond her kids, her spouse, and the usual crowd of mothers at the playgrounds. Her options were slim. Harper was searching for a job that demanded minimal hours, and she managed to snag a position a few days a week handling sushi deliveries. The job was a breeze, mainly sitting at a desk, shooting the breeze, and occasionally answering phone orders. It was an arrangement that worked perfectly for her. Liam was thrilled that his wife had found herself a little escape. He could tell that day by day, it was becoming tougher for Harper to find fulfillment solely in her roles as a mother and wife. So he was more than supportive of her decision to work. After years of solitude, it proved somewhat challenging for the woman to meld seamlessly into the new team, predominantly comprised of individuals younger than her. The company was small, just the director and his brother at its helm. Not long after, Harper struck up a rapport with the chef, known as Ethan. During a heartful chat, he remarked, "I do hope you stick around for a bit. I'm frankly worn out from constantly adapting to new faces. I barely manage to recall their names." Harper stared at him, baffled. Really, is staff turnover that high? This was news to her. No one had mentioned this before. Sensing he might have revealed too much, Ethan quickly changed the topic. Harper cherished how she felt heading to work each day. Though it wasn't a plush office or a high-end corporation where everyone donned chic attire, stepping into her workplace filled her with a sense of complete liberation and self-assurance. For a moment, she reclaimed the essence of the Harper she was prior to marriage and motherhood. Customers often flirted with her during calls, and she had found a solid ally in Ethan. Additionally, she now had her own income, which she could use as she pleased without justifying her expenditures to Liam. Yet there was another reason that piqued her interest in her job, a secret she kept close to her chest, and for some time, even denied to herself. Lately, Harper had become aware of the particular attention she received from the upper echelons, namely the director and his brother Miles. Both of them had started giving her explicit signals, lavishing her with compliments, and generally indicating their fondness for her. Initially, this overt interest from 2 charming men took her aback, but gradually, she found herself enjoying the attention increasingly. Naturally, she never breathed a word of this to Liam, not even in jest. Aware that her husband was prone to jealousy, she knew such revelations would lead him to insist she quit her job. One evening, just as the day was winding down, the director summoned Harper to his office. This was a surprise. Such an invitation was out of the ordinary, as Ryder never requested personal meetings with his staff in his office. Before heading in, she caught a glimpse of Ethan, his expression one of disappointment before he averted his gaze and walked away into the hallway. What's the meaning of this? Harper pondered, planning to seek clarification from her friend later on. After securing the door, Ryder gestured for her to take a seat. Known for his directness, he wasted no time in diving into the heart of their discussion. The revelations he shared caused Harper's eyes to widen and a chill to run down her spine. So that explains why Ethan mentioned they often switch out the girls. Harper, let's be frank. You are an attractive woman with a remarkable figure. At these words, she stiffened immediately. I've been watching you for quite some time. The long-suppressed longing she had held back surged forward. In that instant, Harper's thoughts drifted away from him, her family, and the moral shades of her actions. Desire eclipsed her logic. She exited the office visibly flustered, her hair in disarray. Her colleagues could each guess what had occurred, yet they remained silent, all except Ethan. He chose to distance himself and never spoke to her again. From then on, Harper led a life fraught with secrecy. Her colleagues openly criticized her. Everyone knew she was married. But her husband had no inkling of her deceitful actions. The woman had made great efforts to conceal her infidelity from him. Little did she know that soon her charade would crumble, just like her marriage. Ethan, a devoted family man, couldn't bear to watch Harper's transgressions any longer. Male solidarity kicked in, compelling him to reach out to Liam on social media, suggesting they meet up. They decided on a cozy pub downtown, known for its selection of beers. Once they were face to face, Ethan divulged everything he knew, starting from the beginning and explaining that their superior's behavior was more common than they thought. The betrayed spouse, however, refused to believe the words of this stranger. "Perhaps my wife rejected you, and now you're out to tarnish her reputation in my eyes out of spite," Liam retorted. Ethan simply shrugged. "My role was to provide you with the information. The choice is yours to make." With those parting words, he stood up from the table and left, abandoning his unfinished beer. Meanwhile, Liam sat there, feeling a tense knot form deep within him. For days, Liam mulled over what his wife's colleague had confided in him. Should he take his word for it? Should he confront Harper directly? And if it all turns out to be fabricated, wouldn't such suspicion tarnish their bond? A myriad of thoughts swirled incessantly in Liam's mind. He often found himself awake at the dead of night, haunted by the same dilemmas that occupied his thoughts during daylight hours. As Friday's work was winding down, Liam's phone buzzed with a new message on a social platform from Ethan, who claimed that if Liam hurried over, he could see the truth for himself. Without a moment's hesitation, he dashed to Harper's office, relieved by the short distance between their workplaces. Breathless, Liam burst into the workshop, and right there was Ethan, who without a word, led him to the director's office. From behind the closed door, faint moans were audible. Overcome with emotion, Liam howled in agony, like a beast stricken with pain, and furiously broke down the door with several forceful kicks. The sight that met his eyes left everyone in the office stunned and speechless. Inside were three figures: Ryder, his brother Miles, and Harper. Both men anxiously tugged on their jeans and attempted to fasten them. Harper sported her sweater backwards. Liam never anticipated encountering two paramours at once in his wife, leaving him utterly bewildered. The woman hurried towards her husband, only to be pushed away in revulsion. Those in the vicinity of Harper and Liam were astounded by the news of their divorce. They had seemed like the epitome of a perfect couple, having endured numerous trials together. Alas, life never prepares one for the moment when their spouse chooses two other men over them. Initially, Liam drowned his sorrows through heavy drinking. However, after about a year, and upon heeding his eldest daughter's advice, he mustered the strength to rise above the situation. Having a deceitful wife is no justification for self-destruction, Liam resolved, as he embarked on a new path. Conversely, Harper decided to resign from her job, partly due to the circumstances, and also because the management had undergone a complete change. The woman had garnered numerous ill-wishers in the aftermath. Both of her lovers promptly severed ties with her. After their divorce, the eldest daughter expressed a desire to remain in the care of her father, while their mother claimed the youngest child. Harper found herself in a position where she needed to be more picky about her job choices, as she no longer had the support she used to have and was striving to provide for her child on her own. This violent turn of events caused the children great stress, although they maintained constant contact with each other. As time passed, the son gradually spent more and more time with his father, until the day came when he admitted that he preferred to live with him rather than with his mother. This discovery was an incredible shock for the woman, because she did not expect such an outcome in any way.